Don't be stressed out or anxious.
you may think, well, it doesn't have anything to do really with me, and how's it going to help me? For example, like this morning, I asked, why do women live longer than men? When you start to answer that question, you realize that there's a lot in the answer that can inform us about our own day-to-day life and what we may be doing, not doing, or should be doing, not doing, or should be doing, or, should not be doing, for that matter. When you start to answer this question, it becomes very intriguing because it is a combination, it seems to me, or a constellation of variables that we can categorize under biology and under behavior. And under that behavior category, you're going to talk about diet, eating behaviors, lifestyle behaviors, and so on. Biology, you can then, as I've said, one of the things that puts men at risk is their hormones. Believe it or not, testosterone tends to make men engage in more risky behaviors and tends to make them more aggressive. They fight more, they brawl, and so on. Testosterone, you can't dismiss it. You say, well, you're reducing a person down to a hormone. No. It's one variable as I say, in a constellation of variables. There is a Dr. Jin Min, a professor of biological sciences at Inha University in South Korea. He published a study in the journal called Current Biology, and Dr. Min found he looked at the historical health records of 81 Korean, are you ready? Eunuchs. Now, what an interesting sample. Where in the hell do you find 81 eunuchs? I have no clue, but these are men who were castrated as children and therefore stopped producing testosterone. You can't make this up. What he found was that eunuchs tended to live about 14 to 19 years longer than uncastrated men. Now, if you ask any man, I can put almost 20 years on your life if I castrate you, they're going to tell you, you know what, you need to go home. Take a walk. I'll live 20 years shorter, but you're not doing that to me. Now, men, they probably got castrated children for one medical reason or another.
Was it, you said North Korea, though?
South.
Oh, okay.
When the links between testosterone and immune function aren't very clear, Dr. Min pointed out in his laboratory research that testosterone can block the release of some disease-fighting immune cells. So it could be, too, then, that testosterone may lead men to more heart disease or poorer health outcomes. You cannot make this up. But on the other hand, nature, evolution, has instilled more women have testosterone as well, and men have estrogen, by the way. We selected natural selection had it where on our biological makeup, and you look at across species, what do you notice? The males are always more aggressive. Estrogen tends to be protective. This was another, and is shown to have antioxidant protection. That could be another feature for women that could serve them well. And there's a number of studies looking at that as well. So you see my answer, the answer to the question, why do women live longer than men, takes us down many roads. And I wanted to explore that question with you because it raises our awareness and causes us to think about ourselves in a more multidimensional way. It's not just about biology. It's not just about behavior. It's about context as well. Where you live. And that's all by chance. You were born into this, and who were your parents? Context. All it means a lot. Living in certain places reduces your chances to live longer. Living in certain places like Monaco, where the average life expectancy is close to 90, is a better option. You had nothing to do with that. My guest, Richard Passwater, has traveled around the world and has seen a lot of differences between and among cultures in terms in all sorts of ways, in societal terms, you name it, health, the way they think about the world, their worldview, how they see health, and their relationship with food. I mean, he's seen a lot of different differences, a lot of different aspects of these different cultures. And he's an educator for biominerals, literally does travel around the world. Richard, welcome to the show, and where in the world are you today?
Thank you for having me, Dr. Gorko. It's great to be back. I'm in my office today. I just got back from Brazil last night. Really, last night. You can still hear it in my voice.
What were you doing in Brazil? Going down there to take music, jazz music lessons to learn the bossa nova? Or what were you doing, man?
That sounds good. I should travel with you more often. But,
oh, listen, I'm fun to travel with, brother. I will find the most interesting things in place. I'm Anthony Bourdain in disguise. I loved him.
That was very, very sad.
I miss him.
He left quite a legacy, and I think he enlightened a lot of people's lives with what he did, and I think he should be very proud of himself.
Well, where were you in Brazil? What were you doing, man?
I was in a town called Campinas. It's outside of São Paulo.
You got to be careful how you say that.
And I think I said it the right way the first time, and then I got scared and I mispronounced it.
Steven dumped it. It's not on the air. It didn't make the air.
There was a science conference there for compound pharmacists and doctors that recommend compound pharmacy materials, and it was a dermatology-focused conference.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what you talked about when you got there. Women do live longer than men. In every culture that you've been to, every country you've been to, that has been the case, without exception. I don't know. Do you know of any country on the planet where men outlive women?
No, I don't. Most animals, it's the same way.
Same way too. Yep, you're right. You're so smart. We come back. We'll find out what he was doing in Brazil, and we'll find out what he's going to do here today.
Field Talk.
Richard Passwater is my guest today on Let's Talk Nutrition. He just literally flew home last night from Brazil, got up this morning and is doing this show.
Boy, his arms are tired.
I guess he is. I don't know how he does it. You have a shot of Brazil? Find some Brazil B-roll, Gary, and let's run that. Right now, he's showing behind me. That's Pittsburgh, by the way. The Point in downtown Pittsburgh. That's where the Allegheny and the Monongahela meet to form the Ohio. I spent many hours there at the Point, sitting there, listening to jazz bands or playing there myself. And, yeah, missed that place. Richard, welcome back. Have you been to Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a well-kept wonder of the world. It's a beautiful town. Those three rivers they have there are spectacular. And I remember the first time I went to Pittsburgh was probably in the 80s, and it was rather industrial at that time. But when I started going back by the mid-90s, it's really one of the more dynamic cities I've visited.
Yeah, it was in a lot of trouble back in the 70s and the 80s, boy. The steel mills had shut down, gone away, and it was they had to retool the city. The health of the city was in great peril. And, boy, now they make movies there. I mean, it's high tech, great universities all over the place. Wonderful place to be. Great art, great science. It's a wonderful place.
That whole downtown area with the Heinz, where they have the theaters and the sports teams, and it's quite remarkable. I think it's one of the best medical research
You're right.
in the world now.
You're right. Absolutely. So in Brazil, you were giving a talk about, you didn't go there to talk about coconuts. Maybe you did.
I sampled some of these coconut water, so it was quite, and man needs to stay hydrated down there.
Well, there you go. I'm making a joke, and it turns out that it's something you did. What did you talk about?
I had an opportunity to speak about collagen generating in dermatology and traumatology medicine, and it was a very nice opportunity. And beforehand, some of the doctors, I had a 1-hour spot, but some of the doctors had an opportunity to pose some questions that they wanted to see me address in the talk.
Well, what were they interested in?
Most of the doctors at the event were involved in anti-aging work, and they were looking into neocollagenesis or collagen production. And some of them were involved in wound healing, and some of the questions they wanted me to address were...
Were there any doctors that were burn specialists?
At this particular conference, none of those identified themselves and posed any questions for me to address in the talk. It's a type of medicine I have the utmost respect for, having been a firefighter earlier in my life, and the burnout and the trauma associated with burn wound healing is horrific. And but at this conference, it was mostly people involved with more aesthetic and cosmetic.
Any plastic surgeons there?
Yeah, quite a few plastic surgeons.
So I find that interesting that the plastic surgeon would be interested in collagen because, if the plastic surgeon can make her patients stay away from him or her longer, that hurts their practice.
Well, there's two things to consider. First, generally, I don't know the politically correct way to say it, but there is healthy competition between the plastic surgeons, and they're quite competitive people and like to be the very best. And they're always looking for ways to make their treatments better than the next guy's or next lady's treatments. And they're very many of especially the minimally invasive and non-invasive procedures are designed to damage the old collagen and stimulate new collagen production. And for these treatments to work, the body has to be able to make new collagen.
So your product would be, what? No pun intended. Exactly what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, exactly. And they're we're having a lot of success in these areas, attracting attention, and then the feedback's remarkable.
So what they're interested in is, even though once they perform the surgery, facial, whatever, they want the body to heal, and they believe that if they could find something that would be a collagen generator, that would serve the patient well post-surgery.
Yes, exactly.
Do I have that right?
That's correct. Some of these treatments don't work very well in older people and people that smoke, people with badly photo-damaged skin, and these are all, smoking robs the body of vitamin C. And
when you say treatments, are you talking about surgical treatments?
These are usually, they're using our product with these minimally invasive and non-invasive things like micro-focused ultrasound, radio frequency treatments, the micro-needling, chemical peel.
Dermabrasion.
The microdermabrasions, the different types of laser therapies.
I see.
They're burning holes in the skin.
Mm-hmm. 877-897-8255. Did everybody speak English, or did they have to wear a headset and have a translation?
They had two dermatologists that did simultaneous translation, which I think has to be one of the most difficult jobs in the world.
It is,
especially when a Yahoo like me is speaking. But they do a wonderful job with that. It was a simultaneous translated discussion.
Did somebody ask you a question you had a hard time with?
Well, fortunately, in this talk, I always like challenging questions, and I often learn a lot from them. But on this one, they had to submit things that they were hoping the lecture would cover.
Have you ever been in front of an audience where you had somebody in the audience that was hostile to what you were saying?
Yeah, at times. All
right, I would like to know about that. I would like to know what caused them to be concerned about BioSil. Given what I know about it, I'm curious. So we'll explore that and much more. Any breaking news from Biominerals?
We're looking forward to launching two new clinic forms, liquid BioSil in capsules and a stick pack at the upcoming
Expo West
next week.
All right, we'll talk about that as well and much more. I can tell you, hands down, 100% full stop. If there's a product that you want to take every day, BioSil would be one of them. Not just for health and for beauty purposes, but for strict health purposes. One of the most important elements of your body, collagen, the most abundant protein, the way it's implicated in the function and structure of your body is remarkable. And as we age, unfortunately, collagen becomes a big issue. And welcome to Let's Talk Nutrition. Thanks for stopping by today. One of my favorite guests is on today, Richard Passwater, works for Biominerals, a Belgium company, and they are the makers of BioSil. That product's been around a long time, has a lot of research, clinical trials associated with it. Product works. Richard just literally got home last night from Brazil, where he was at a conference, medical professionals, doctors, interested in skin health. I guess it would be plastic surgeons there and whomever. We'll get them to break that down even further. And if they have an interest in it, that's a clue. All right? When you have a plastic surgeon interested in a supplement that, why would a plastic surgeon be interested in keeping somebody's skin healthy and have them age more successfully? The faster they age, the quicker they get to the surgeon. Well, as Richard pointed out, post-surgery, some people don't heal very well for one reason or another, age being one of them. The very thing that probably took them there is the very thing that causes them to not heal so well, age. And BioSil, the surgeons would be interested in it because it's going to help the patient heal better. You want less scarring, you want quicker healing time, less traumatic and dramatic consequences from the surgery. So they would be interested. Moreover, if you have a plastic surgeon and the surgeon says to you, listen, you need to take this product because it's going to keep you looking younger and healthier looking longer. It's going to, you may not be back here sooner rather than later. Patient would be impressed with that. And that patient will go tell somebody else. It always serves the doctor to keep the patient healthy is that's a good thing for the physician. Now, in our culture, we've flirted with the idea of rewarding doctors for keeping people healthy rather than treating them when they get sick, right? When they're already sick. In other words, have a system where the reward is based upon truly prevention, delay, helping people stay healthier longer. I opened the first hour today talking about why women live longer than men. And there are a host of different reasons why that is. And women tend to age more successfully, too, it seems, than men. They stay, and not only do they live longer, but they have more years of healthy life compared to men for different reasons. And by the way, if you think for 1 second in this modern day and age that men aren't interested in how they look, you better think again. That's changing. I know it's still, women, I would probably dare say that the lion's share of any plastic surgery practice is women, if I had to guess. But I think more and more surgeons would tell you more and more men come in for work. And they should. I'm a fan. Here's how to connect.
You can reach us at 877-897-8255. That's 877-897-77-897-TALK. Don't forget Dr. Garko's personal email is drgarko@letstalknutrition.com. Follow us, like us, and share us on Facebook at Let's Talk Nutrition, on the Instagram at Let's Talk Nutrition, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. You'll get alerted every time you subscribe at Let's Talk Nutrition with 1,100 videos up there right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Richard Passwater is the guest, the aforementioned, and here he is live on Let's Talk Nutrition, coast to coast and globally, fresh back from Brazil as of last night. Did you get any sleep?
Not a lot of sleep, but I did take a scenic tour back from the conference, kind of drove down the coast a little bit. I had rented a French car, I believe it was a Renault Duster, And I know what you're thinking, Dr. DeGarco. What could go wrong with a Yahoo like me driving a French car on Brazilian roads?
A lot. A lot.
But I got it back in one piece in time for the flight, so
yeah.
all's good.
What did you learn? Did you learn anything on this trip, and what was it?
I always learn a day.
Well, what did you learn this trip?
A day I only learn a few things is a bad day, and I just hope not to learn them by getting hit with the humble stick. But on this particular trip, I had a nice, engaging discussion with that had to do with a misunderstanding that a lot of the dermatologists seem to have. I won't say a lot, but a significant number of them seem to have about the relationship with the number of fibroblasts in the skin and collagen generating potential of the person.
Okay, so I got to stop you there. You need to explain to the listener and the viewer what a fibroblast is. It's not a stick of dynamite. What is it?
Fibroblast. I like your creativity, but a fibroblast is a collagen generating cell, and in the skin they have a funky kind of starfish-like shape, and they make collagen. They make hyaluronic acid to keep moisture in the skin. They make elastin, a protein that allows like a bounce-back factor to the skin. They make enzymes that tear down old damaged collagen, so the body can replenish it with fresh new collagen.
So it is a cell, right? A fibroblast is a kind of cell.
It's a living cell that really maintains what they like to call the extracellular matrix. They're really going to build things, and it's about activating the enzymes, not about making more fibroblasts would be nice too. But it's an independent variable in the equation.
So you said it. Activate the enzymes. Is that what BioSil does?
That's what BioSil does exactly, and it also protects them. And that's always an interesting thing for.
Did you tell them which enzymes they were?
Oh yes, we certainly had. We talked a lot about ornithine aminotransferase, which helps the body make proline, and proline makes up about 23% of the pre-collagen. And then as the collagen matures, about 44% of that gets converted into hydroxyproline. We talked about prolohydroxylases, which convert the proline into hydroxyproline to allow the body to form the triple helix structures that give collagen strength. We talked about lysyl hydroxylase, which...
when we come back, we'll find out more. Ridgecrest Herbal's original Clear Lung supplement has been the #1 selling natural product for lung health. Biochemistry. Boy, that sounds like a number. It turns out that in the world of nutrition, biochemistry, it's the game, right? There are different kinds of chemistry, and organic and whatnot, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry, organic chemistry. I live in the world primarily of biochemistry for obvious reasons. And in the world of biochemistry, you have these different pathways that are responsible for everything from energy production to, you name it, collagen synthesis, for example. And what you were listening to in that last block as we went into message was Richard talking about the enzymes involved in collagen production. And those enzymes are located along a pathway whereby the collagen gets made. And he was at a conference in Brazil, and the dermatologists were telling him it's the fibroblasts, the cells, that, it's all about that. And as I said, I didn't go to medical school, and I know better. Yes, you need the fibroblasts, but you can have all the fibroblasts in the world that are responsible for collagen production, but if they don't have the enzymes, if the enzymes are not there to do the work, those fibroblasts are meaningless in a real sense. So it's always about the enzymes. Now, you're interested in better skin, better hair, better nails, better connective tissue throughout your body. You want to age more successfully. BioSil is the way to go. Why? Because it's implicated in stimulating the necessary enzymes to help make the collagen. That's what BioSil does in a word. Richard, welcome back. So did you finally persuade these doctors that it's the enzymes?
I think it was just something they had overlooked and not thought about.
You're so diplomatic. You're so diplomatic.
But that was a nice exchange of ideas that made me think of a new presentation to do. And afterwards, I made a graph that I found some studies that looked at the number of fibroblasts in the skin at different ages, and showed that the number does slightly decrease throughout somebody's adult life, but it's not much of a decrease. As an example, when they're born, they probably have around 4,500 fibroblasts per square millimeter of skin, and then when they're between 0 and 10 years old, it's probably more in the 4,000 range. So there's a drop there, but then it quickly drops to around 2,200, and stays. Goes down a little bit, but stays above 2,000 for the rest of somebody's life, until they're the oldest people in this study was 85. So it appears that the number of fibroblasts really stays unchanged relatively unchanged during somebody's adult life.
I understand.
It's the function of those fibroblasts, and trying to get as many of them as possible to